Today I'm going to introduce, I'm going to present my thesis, Blindness Strategies in English and Vietnamese on Social Media. The table will contain introduction, literature review, methodology, results, and conclusion, and further suggestions. Introduction, I'm going to talk about rationale, aims, and research questions. Rationales, as we all know that Vietnamese is a high context community. So people usually tend to blind each other. But in reality, there's differences between face-to-face conversation and an online conversation. Therefore, I choose this topic. And I'm concerned about this. Cyberbullying may be happening on online conversation. So that's why this research is conducted. About the research questions, there are 3 research questions. How online strategies in English rely on commenters on social media? How online the strategies in Vietnamese used by commenters on social media? And what are the similarities and differences in using blindness strategies by commenters in Vietnamese and in English? And about the literary review, there are 8 parts, and as you can see on the screen, first of all is blindness and impliedness. Strategies blindness, Brown Levison's approach of blindness. And this is also the main source that I use to analyze my research. Differences between real-life conversations and cyber conservation. Cyberbullying comments on culture of the young, collectivism and individualism. Previous studies. And about the research methodology, this is qualitative research and is a kind of cross-linguistic analysis. About the sampling, there are 13 comments on social media, and 15 of them are in English, and the rest are in Vietnamese. They are categorized into 3 topics: music, film, and vehicles. And about the music is the Eras Tour by Taylor Swift, the film with the title Your Name, and about the vehicles is Tesla models. About the participants, all you can see is that there are 5 speakers, because this must be speaker listener in the conversation. So the 5 speakers, but the responder is always higher than the speakers. And that is there are 6 cases in my thesis. How to conduct the research? As I mentioned above, I rely on the blindness strategies theory of Brown and Levison, 1987. There are 4 main theories, that is positive blindness, negative blindness, off-record strategies, and on-record strategies. To check whether online users on Twitter is known as X, YouTube, and Facebook to find out similarities and differences. And finally, this also suggests ways to deal with cyberbullying. And about finding a discussion, this is the theories of blindness, positive blindness. And the first notice and attend here or seek agreement with many of commenters use it in their comments. And And already there are some differences in English and in Vietnamese. For example, like give or ask reasons, or be optimistic. Only in Vietnamese, Vietnamese use it, but in English they don't use it. In my research, yeah, and yeah, that's it. Moving to the negative blindness. Before moving to the negative blindness, they use these strategies unconsciously, but to acknowledge the hero effort, strong point, or to build connection, be a follower, like on online environment, being a follower is a kind of gifted hero, or share their own experience, raise their subject, introduce perspective, reference on experience, or to explain to sometimes speaker heroes feelings, or set the subject space. And moving to the negative politeness, there are three main negative politeness that the commenters use in the comments. Minimize the imposition, questions, age, or give deference, and there's a big difference between the Vietnamese and English speaker use. The negative politeness is only Vietnamese give deference for to say the subject space. They might use some other verbs in their comment or UH, like wonder, I guess, I feel like, or I hope. To minimize the impositions, they might introduce a new option. They share their own story or use e-blogs. And about the Vietnamese, I'm also presented earlier. And the on-call strategies, so most of them use the be ironic in their comments. Like we can see there are behind this, and use rhetorical questions and presuppose. But Vietnamese tend to use it more often than the English speaker. And about the bottom regular strategies, in here I only count how many of them use it. So English just 9. Vietnamese is 17. Bonhoeffer to express the feeling of their idea, express admiration, express dissatisfaction, make a questions or conclusion, or seek for further discussion. Sorry for interruption. Okay, and about the conclusion, there are some characteristics in English and Vietnamese societies that the reason why the speakers act differently online. Like the USA, the English speaker prioritize clarity, directness, or individual expression, but Vietnamese people prioritize different values like group work, harmony, social values, something like that. So that's why they act differently on online. And about the final part, the limitations. This is like a small sample size, and all the data that I self-reported, so it's not subjective. It is like a subjective, not objective. So that's why I suggest further research, like bigger sample size, or the way to collect the data must be different from the way I did. So thanks for listening.
Thank you. You have finished with your presentation, and now this is time for the reviewers to give comments and questions to you. I'd like to invite Associate Professor David Cook, please.
Thank you, Professor Jia, and congratulations for your accomplishment of the good scientific research and it accurately linguistic. Yeah, good. My questions are in 2 points. The first one related to the way how you identify the expression of the data for your analysis of the politeness strategy. Okay? Politeness strategy is not the way to see their strategy, but to identify the expression, linguistic expression. Okay? And the second question is related to the criteria for your selection of the 30 comments of social media, 15 in English and 15 in Vietnamese. Okay? Yeah, please clarify.
Thank you for your questions. First of all, the first questions, the criteria I made before I choose that comment, because on the online comment, they usually repeat itself, like repetitions a lot. So I have to filter, and it must be must be conversation, which means they're speakers and listeners. So they have to be respond turn by turn or something like that. So that is some criteria that why I choose those comments in my research. Yeah. And the second question is I will clarify some criteria. At first, that's why I choose those comments. Honestly, why I choose those three topics is film, music, and vehicles. That is, I want to enjoy my journey while I do my research. So that's why I choose like entertainment subjects. It's not academic ones. Yeah, and secondly, I want to guarantee the natural conversations, because those are conversations. They leave the comment with their real emotion, the real feeling. So I want to guarantee the nature of the real conversations. And like the last topic is about the vehicle. It's might be a challenge for me, because some posts about that topic is not sufficient for analyzing. So sometimes so that is the third one, is the first subject, but it's okay that I overcome it. And the last one, I can't avoid the ethical issues, because they leave the comment online. So their identity remain unknown. So that
in a very small sample, but your sample is expanded, the result can be different. Okay, so the way to choose the data source is very important, and it is not in your line or this line of the data source, like vehicle or field or the other, but the criteria set in advance here is in the text where you can see beforehand the expression of politeness strategy to be identified. So you have the pilot study, and you have several sources of data that you can get the text part to identify those. Okay, add it more to your chapter of methodology. The second one is in the way to identify the linguistic expression showing politeness strategy. Okay, because politeness can be shown in several ways. It can be the verbal, it can be non-verbal way of showing politeness, but yours is only the verbal. So you have to encode the language expression showing politeness strategy and showing the smaller strategy among the 12 positive and the 16 negative politeness strategy. Okay, so that is the reason why I raised the two questions for you to have bear in mind if you continue with the route for higher level. I highly appreciate your study. Okay. So I would like to add some more comments. The strong point should be fast because we don't have much time. Okay. So in the abstract of your research project, the key point of finding that contribute to knowledge should quickly be presented to provide your reader with the contribution of your project rather than your general presentation. So politeness strategy found from your investigation of the data source of social media should be highlighted. Okay? The positive politeness strategy, the negative politeness strategy. Okay? The justification of the research project should be presented right in chapter 1. Because your reader may misunderstand or they may be misled by seeing that politeness is only in Brown and Levinson theory. No. Politeness theory can be divided into 4 different categories. We can say the social norm view, the conversational maxim view, the conversational contract view, and the face-saving view. And view are only in Brown and Levinson face-saving view to politeness strategy. So Brown and Levinson are not politeness theory. They are in a view of politeness strategy. And we say Brown and Levinson face-saving view to politeness. That is the right way. Okay? So if possible, in your further research, it's not now. You can have the overview of politeness theory in the 4 views, and then you focus on Brown and Levinson politeness strategy, not theory. Okay? In chapter 3, the criteria set in advance for your selection of 30 comments of social media, 15 in English, 15 in Vietnamese, should be presented, and how the samples and the expression of politeness strategy are identified should be presented. Okay, your reader do not know how they are picked out from the social media text. You know what I mean? Okay, so you have to encode the expression so that you can put them in the category of the different strategy among the 2 super strategies of positive and negative. Okay? In chapter 4, politeness strategy in English and Vietnamese on social media should be presented in each particular the different, the particular strategy. They are in your hand, and you can do everything to make it more persuasive. Okay? The frequency analysis in each of sections 4.1 and 4.2 will provide more evidence for the objective analysis of the similarity and the differences. You have the right way to do it, because everything is like the food, and they are ready for your explanation. You have everything, okay? My advice is that in the clarification of your politeness strategy to match with the title of your research project, politeness strategy in English and Vietnamese on social media. Here you can, as discussed above, we cannot say that Brown and Lee is a politeness theory, but they are the face-saving view to politeness strategy. Okay? And finally, some shortcoming in terms of language error and printing error should be double-checked before your satisfactory completion of the research project. Okay? Anyway, very good for your presentation. I highly appreciate it. And when the amendment have completely been made on income, it recommended to be granted with a master's degree in English linguistics. Again, my congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Fuchs, for your very insightful, deep suggestions and recommendations for Han's thesis. So I'd like to invite Dr. Wei Tong with the comments.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Professor, Associate Professor Chen Rufo, for the very insightful comments. So I don't think I should repeat because my comments also overlapped some of his comments. So I just add some comments first. Okay. So first, in terms of sample size, I think 15 comments for English, right? And 15 comments for Vietnamese is too small, right?
Actually, like I also present participants. I choose 15, but there is one only.
I see. Yeah, I see. Because you have the respondents as well, right? Okay, but I think you need to generalize, the situation. You need more than 15. Yeah, because normally for this kind of research, they use like hundreds of comments to generalize. Okay, you cannot say, okay, Vietnamese people can use this strategies in politeness within like 15 comments. You cannot say that, right? Okay, and next one. I think your research is very interesting, but you just indicate what's going on, but you do not explain what's that. For example, Vietnamese people tend to use these strategies, so you have to say why. What is your assumption? What is your implication? Okay. So can you later on? So could you please give me some examples in which Vietnamese culture affects the politeness strategy in social media, not in real life, in face-to-face communication. Okay? So that can be considered as my first question. Alright? Okay.
So may I repeat your questions to ensure that I understand? You asked me to give the example of Vietnamese use politeness strategies on social media.
Which are affected by Vietnamese culture.
In my research, I also found that when they discuss about the movie, it doesn't discuss about the movie. They discuss why Vietnamese don't change the normal text at school into discuss movie is much better, and that is affected by Vietnamese culture, because we don't talk about the surface of the top of the mountain. We also talk about the deep down why the root, and that is I think that is an example of Vietnamese using polite strategies to change the topic, but really smooth. Yeah, in my opinion.
Okay, good answer. So, and another concern is that the way you choose the videos, right? The videos, or what is it? The data? The videos or the music? Amphi? Is it amphi music? Is it an amphi or? Okay, so it's quite difficult for you to identify the strategies of politeness through those kind of data. Okay, because if you would like to see how polite people are, right, or what strategies they use to show their politeness, so you can use some like hot issues. Okay, something that is very controversial. Okay, so that people try to debate, people try to argue with each other, right? So it's very easy for you to identify the strategies rather than some kinds of really, normal, topics. So it would be, nothing, really extreme to talk about. Yeah. So did you observe any notable differences in politeness strategies among different age groups or genders or types of social media platforms? Because, for example, on YouTube or on TikTok, okay, the way people comment are different. Because TikTok is very good at controlling the language that the users use, right? Okay, but YouTube seems to be easier, in that case. So have you ever thought of that?
I want to defend a little bit about the controversial in my topic. Is there any feature that is called controversial in my topic? Actually, the third topic about vehicles, that is a controversial one. The original post is have bad comments about the vehicle, but most of the people in those posts, some of them are polite, and most of them are rude. But and sorry, I forgot.
So besides they use a language, right, verbal language, they also use emotion items.
Yeah.
So did you count it in your?
Actually, I didn't count it.
It's like the same sense that if someone adds some emotion items, so it changes the politeness.
But because I only analyze about the verbal one, I don't analyze about the icon. So that's why there is no sign of icon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wilkinson. And I will just let the other members of our committee. You have any further questions?
Thank you, President.
Okay, so I have a question, and the question is like for implications or application for your research findings in language learning and teaching. Do you have any practical implication or practical application from your research findings into language teaching or language learning?
May I repeat your question? You asked me that myself, do I apply any blind strategies after I do my research? Yeah. I don't know that I did, but I did not. But maybe I did, but I didn't aware. Yeah. But I think I did. Give me a second. Sorry.
So it means that you realize that what strategies you have been used.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry for no answer for no. I think I did, but I don't know. I have the exact answer.
Hay định một
Anh cho ví dụ như thế này nhé, bây giờ xong rồi đến anh đi ra thì em đi ra trước thầy.
mà sau đó em thấy thầy ở phía sau cho nên là em mới nói là after you, đúng không? Bây giờ em phải là chuyên gia của những chuyện đó, phải không? Vậy thì cái expression mà em vừa thể hiện là after you nó là super polite strategy nào, positive hay negative? Thì thấy ta đi ra cửa mà em đi trước, thầy đi sau, sau đó thì em mới quay lại em bảo là after you. Đúng. Đấy, và nó chính là polite strategy, đúng không? Và nó là positive hay negative? Đấy, cho nên là nó chưa đi vào chiều sâu, và cái chưa rõ là ở chỗ em tìm được những expression trong cái data source của em thì em mới đặt nó vào từng cái super strategy. Trong mỗi super strategy của positive và negative thì nó đã có một ngôn ngữ rồi, đúng không? Ví dụ như hành vi vừa rồi thể hiện sự gần gũi với người khác, thể hiện sự tôn trọng với người khác, như vậy nó phải là positive. Thấy chưa? Cái thứ hai nữa, nó chính là cái chiến lược cụ thể, đó là paying attention to the hearer, đúng không? Đó là chiến lược thứ ba của positive polite strategy. Và em chưa trả lời được rõ như thế thì hoàn toàn là có lý, bởi vì em chưa có cái cách khoa học để mà chọn ra những language expression showing polite strategy như câu hỏi này đặt ra, nghĩa là em sẽ chỉ ra được những cái expression mà nó thuộc về những nhóm nào trước khi mà em đi vào phân tích cái dữ liệu của em thì em sẽ thành công. Mở rộng đề tài này nghiên cứu thêm nữa thì chắc chắn là sẽ rất hay, thú vị. Cảm ơn em.
Thank you very much. I have some comments on your thesis. The topic is quite impressive. I like it. Still some short comments in writing. You need to focus on specifically. Number one, chapter 2. You need to go further, more deeply, in order to have a wider and deeper review of the literature. Because I can see that the literature review is still rough, okay, insufficient, and the previous studies review is very limited. So you need to go wider into the body of literature in order to find out the research about your topic, okay, about your field. Chapter 3, it is about methodology. I have no idea about that. This is what's good, but how about previous studies with your arguments, because I can see most of class 4.2 refers to your own view, and I do not see the comparison with all the background or the theories in previous studies. Okay, so this is rather subjective, without any evidence to support your view. Okay, so you need to identify and clarify and also support your view with further sources. One point in methodology and chapter 2 literature review is the lack of sources. So you need to make clear the sources, because many of the various information, various sources you missed to mention in the methodology chapter, in the literature review chapter. Okay, so that is the major revision. I'm sorry to say that these are the major revision you need to be careful in order to revise, okay, in order to improve your thesis writing. But anyway, this is a robust effort. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. So